So now coming to the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. The heart chakra deals with relationships. The first chakra deals with your fear. The first chakra deals with your survival, and the energy which affects that is the fear. The second chakra deals with your emotions, and the energy which affects a healthy emotion is guilt energy. The third chakra deals with your power center and your achievements. So the third chakra is all about your power and achievements, and the energy which impacts the third chakra is your ego. Now, when it comes to the fourth chakra deals with relationships. Now, your third chakra is very, very important. Every chakra is important, but your third chakra is very important because it is through your third chakra, it is through your power center, you manifest many, many things on the planet Earth. If you want to manifest anything on the planet Earth, your third chakra should be totally in balance because that is your power center. That is where you do the things. You do the things. You bring your ideas into physicality. Your creativity comes into the physical existence through your power center. As long as it is in balance, you can manifest whatever you want. But if it is not in balance, then you end up in inferiority complex and superiority complex. When the first chakra is not in balance, it impacts by default the second chakra. When the second chakra is not in balance, it impacts the third chakra. When the first, second, third chakras are not in balance, it impacts your fourth chakra, the heart chakra. So the lower three chakras are very important for you to be in your heart space. When the lower three chakras are in balance, when you have good energy, balanced energy, that you can perceive the things in a balanced way, you can process it in a beautiful way, and you can radiate it in a wonderful way. So when the reception, when the processing, and when the transmission are in balance or in beauty, then by default you are in your heart space. So your ego affects your relationships because if you are in ego space, you are no longer authentic. To be in the heart space means to be authentic. Some of the egoistic behavior patterns. So, egoistic means you are not connected to the heart center. You are not connected to your own heart center. You are not connected to your own soul strength. So, some of the patterns are people become codependent. We discussed about these codependencies. They have very poor boundaries. See, all these things affect your relationship. When you are codependent on your partner, then that is not a healthy relationship. You should be strong and you should be an autonomous person and you should have your own strength. And then your partner is also strong, then you share your strength. But if you are weak, then you are codependent on your husband or on your wife. Or without my partner, I cannot survive. That is codependency. Two people come together to share their strengths, to share their joy, to share the life together, to have a better life. That is a healthy relationship. Like a tabla player, he's a great tabla player. He's very happy himself playing tabla. And then he meets another flute player. And the flute player is also a great flute player. And he himself or she himself is happy with his own flute. They both are great players, great musicians, tabla and flute. So when they come together, they share the music so that it is a greater celebration of music. And they are not dependent on each other. They just come to share their expertise. When they play the tabla and the flute together, there is such a music, orchestra, fusion, grander beauty, grander melody, grander celebration. But when it is time to go on their own ways, they are not clingy, they are not possessive, because they themselves are happy. So they got a chance to play together. And when it is time to go, they go. There is no clinginess, there is no possessiveness, there is no jealousy on each other because they themselves are great, they themselves are happy. Similarly, when you don't have a healthy self esteem, when you are not connected to your heart center, the fourth chakra is all about the heart center. When you are not connected to your true self, when you are not connected to your heart center, then you become demanding, you become possessive, you become clingy, you have poor boundaries, you become self sacrificing. For the other person to be with you, you sacrifice a lot. You become self sacrifice. You sacrifice yourself so that you are somehow in that relationship. And naturally, when your partner is little closer with another person, you naturally feel jealous because there is a lot of insecurity. Jealousy is because of insecurity. And if you are having a superior complex in the relationship, then you are antisocial. This is how it affects the relationship. If your ego is to the other extreme, then you are naturally antisocial. You cannot have healthy relationships. You're always critical and judgmental of the people. If you have a healthy ego, then it's easy to accept others as they are. You have to remember this point that everybody is right from their point of view. If you can see that everybody is right from their point of view, then you are no more in the ego space, you are in the heart space because you're able to understand everybody. But when you feel you are right, the other person is wrong, then you become judgmental, you become critical. So that means you are an egoist. And naturally, they don't have compassion and empathy. Empathy means your ability to perceive another person's emotions. That is empathy. So when you are critical and judgmental, when you're always pointing fingers, then naturally you will end up being lonely and isolated. Nobody wants to be your friend. Nobody wants to be in your relationship. And these people, they fear intimacy also. And sometimes these people, they end up being single. These people, they say that, oh, relationship is too much. I'm happy with myself. I don't want to get married. I don't want to be in a relationship. I want to be single. So when the reason why they say these things is because there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of fear that the other person might hurt their ego. Because when the moment you become closer to another person, you become vulnerable, you become naked. All your qualities, all your masks become naked with your intimate partner. So they fear relationships. They fear relationships because they are not connected to their own heart center. They are not in love with them. There is no self love. A person who doesn't have self love naturally fears relationship. But on the outwardly, they have a mask. I'm happy with myself. I'm living a happy life myself. I don't need anybody in my life. So that is the mask they wear. And these people eventually, they portray the characteristics of narcissism. Narcissism means an overblown sense of self importance. It is good to have self importance, but if it is overblown proportion of self importance, then it is called narcissism. You feel privileged. You feel you are special. You are privileged. So your overblown sense of self importance. This happens because as a child, you are not brought up in a loving environment and you lost connection with your own true self. And because you lost connection with your own true self, you put a lot of masks. You put a lot of masks that you are sensitive. This narcissists feel they are very sensitive. That is a very interesting thing. The narcissist, they feel they are very sensitive and they feel the others don't understand them. But narcissism is because of lack of empathy. They cannot empathize with others because they cannot empathize with themselves. Can you see how it affects the relationships? So is the ego good or bad? We have spoken about it. Ego is good if you have a healthy ego. Healthy ego means educated ego. It is okay to have the identity. It is perfectly okay to have identity because it is through that identity you do work and you achieve. Whatever you achieve is because of your ego. For example, the person has the identity, I am the CEO of the company. So with that identity, he works hard to make sure the company is in profits. So there's nothing wrong with it. So it is through the ego you manifest whatever you want in your life. But if you are attached to that ego, if you are attached to that identity, then that is a problem. So ego is neither good nor bad. In the beginning stages of your soul evolution, ego is very much needed. Ego is, it is through the ego the soul keeps evolving. So you have to understand that ego is neither good nor bad. And ego is a learning tool from the infant soul stage. till the old soul stage. Your ego is a learning tool. It is through your ego you keep learning. You perceive the outer reality based on your own identity. And then you keep working on, you keep progressing lifetimes after lifetimes. But there comes a point where you need to drop the ego. This identity is okay to reach a certain level of evolution. But once you are ready to become enlightened, then that is the time you have to drop the ego. Because unless you drop the ego, you cannot realize your true self. Enlightenment means realizing, self realization. Unless you drop the small I, you cannot realize the capital I. That is the formula. To realize your own capital I, you need to drop your small I. To realize your true potential, your soul potential, to realize your soulhood, to realize your Buddhahood, you need to let go of your physical identities. It is like zoom in, zoom out. Just imagine a camera. There is a digital camera. So you zoom in, and when you zoom in, you go through the fine details of the picture. When you zoom out, then you have all the background visible. Not only the subject, not only the person, but also the trees, the mountains, and all the background is visible when you zoom out. And you see many, many people when you zoom out. When you zoom in, you see only one person. So you need to be in the zoom in and zoom out function. That is enlightenment. A non-enlightened person is always in the zoom in person, always in the zoom in mode. He's focused only on himself. He's focused on his identities. He feels special. He feels great. That is the zoom in mode. But once in a while, you need to educate yourself, come back and be in the zoom out mode and see that everybody's there. You are not the only person. Everybody is important. There are two paths, the path of the ego and the path of the soul. The path of the ego is from the mind space. The path of the soul is from the heart space. So always there is a conflict between the mind and the heart. There is always a conflict. Between the mind and the heart, there is always a conflict. And unless you become a childlike, to becoming a childlike means to be in the heart space, to be in your innocent space. So unless you are in your heart space, you cannot enter the kingdom of God. Entering the kingdom of God simply means you are dropping all your suffering. You are liberated from all your self-inflicted suffering. Moksha, liberation, salvation, mukti. It's all the same meaning. So there is always a conflict between the heart and mind. The ego space says, I am important. The heart space says, everybody is important. Mind says, I am special. The heart says, everybody is special. The heart says, I am as important as anybody. Everybody is important. Mind is always for separation. The heart is always for inclusion. The heart is for oneness. You feel the oneness in your heart. You feel the friendship in your heart. You feel love in your heart. The heart chakra is all about relationship. It's about love. It's about feeling the oneness. So unless you go beyond the ego, or unless you educate your ego, you cannot be in your heart center. To be in your heart center simply means you feel equal to everybody. When you feel equal to everybody, no less, no more, you are equal to everybody. That means you are in your heart center. If you feel special, then you are in your head space. You are in the ego space. So some of the spiritual practices to be in the heart center is meditation. More and more meditation. And expand your knowledge. Gain spiritual knowledge through books, through listening to masters, through Sajjana Sangatyam, through Guru Sangatyam. Gain your spiritual knowledge. Then you are educating your ego comes to rock bottom. When you listen to others' experiences, when you listen to others' life journey, then you naturally realize you are not the great person. Everybody is great. So when you keep listening to others' journey, spiritual journey, life journey, you keep listening to others' hardships and achievements, then naturally your ego comes to rock bottom. Your ego is educated. So listening to others' experiences is a way to come out of your complexes, superiority complex. And when you listen to others' experiences, also you feel empowered. So you come out of both inferiority complex and superiority. So the most important point is to overcome the ego, we need to be in the heart space. And to be in the heart space, you need to be authentic. Authenticity. I mean, there is no manipulation. What you feel in your heart is what you speak, is what you express. You're an authentic person. What you feel, what you speak, and what you do is all one and the same. That means you are authentic. So, why people are not authentic? Why most people are not in the heart space, authentic space, is because of the fear of being judged, the fear of ruining their self-image, you know, the fear of being vulnerable, that you don't feel safe anymore. You don't feel safe on this planet Earth, and you fear not being accepted, validated, approved, and loved by others. All this is because of the fear. Fundamental is the fear. So the more you work on your first chakras, the more you work on your fear. When I say first chakra, I simply mean fear. The more you work on your fear, the more you work on your guilt, the more you work on your shame energy, the more naturally you are you have the guts, you have the courage to be authentic. So these are the three most important chakras you need to constantly work on. Remember, it's always a work in progress. There is layer by layer we will be working on in many lifetimes. It is not a one lifetime journey, it's lifetimes of journey. In fact, you worked on your fears, you worked on your guilt, you worked on your shame energy, you worked on your ego space many lifetimes. That's why you are in the meditation space now. That's why you are ready to be in the heart space. But still, there is more work. Still, the fine tuning is needed. So, the more you become aware of your shortfalls through your meditation, through your spiritual practices like reading books and Sajjana Sangha, the more naturally you become a person of authentic. You become the person of authenticity. So again, the trust also comes from the heart space. So the more you trust in the divine, the more you trust in yourself, the more you overcome the fears. So this is the key. This is the fundamental key. As we are dealing with the relationships, the fourth chakra is all about relationships. Statistically, I met a lawyer many years ago, and he was sharing this, that most of the divorces between husband and wife is because of ego problems. So when you work on your ego, then your relationships become beautiful. Your soul beauty is reflected in your relationships. So if you are in a relationship and if the relationship is not going well, then the best thing to do is both of you sit and meditate together, and both of you acknowledge that you are not perfect, and both of you are work in progress. And it is very important that it doesn't it doesn't matter what the other person feels about you. It is more important that are you feeling your own self, are you feeling your are you in connection with your true self. Your true self is nothing but your god self. We're all gods currently having the human experience. Some people think we are humans waiting for the god experience, waiting for the enlightenment experience, that godhood experience. We are not normal humans yet to experience God. We are all gods currently having the human experience. When you realize this, then you are in the soul space. We're all gods currently in the human experience. The human experience is the physical experience is a limiting experience. It's the experience of duality. Godhood is all about oneness. Human experience is all about duality. Now, in Sanskrit, they say Dvaitvam, Advaitvam. We are all gods, currently experience the duality. So, this you will understand practically only through your meditation. The more and more you meditate, the more and more you will rejoice the human experience. And when you rejoice the duality, then it is easy to accept everybody because you know it is a duality. It is okay. Everybody can have their own point of view. You are free to have your point of view. I am free to have my point of view. And there is no judgment. I accept myself and I accept you also. So, no problem. To get to this stage, you need a lot of awareness. You need a lot of meditation. See, in my life experience, when I started meditating, within the first few days of meditation, all my identities start going away. Before I used to think I'm a male, I'm an engineer, I'm from this community, I'm from this country, I'm this, I'm that, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I have achieved this, I have achieved that. So a lot of identities were there. Within the first few days of meditation, all the identities started going away. I'm just doing meditation, and in my meditation, I started feeling, no, I'm not that, I'm more than that. I'm not the body, I'm more than that. To identify myself to be a male is very limiting because I can feel that I'm a pure consciousness. I'm more than that. And to get identified that I'm an engineer, I'm doing MS degree, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm rich, those things are very, very limiting to me. Because in my meditation, I'm experiencing my soulhood. I'm experiencing my own fragrance. I'm experiencing my own soul beauty. So all these identities were too small, too limiting. So all this identity naturally, dropped because I'm not willing to hold on to it because I've experienced something bigger than that. And it was a very blissful experience. My 2.5 years of journey, it was such a blissful experience that I'm connected to my true self. I'm in my soul space. But that is the first stage of the journey. Before that, I'm a very egoistic person. You cannot imagine how much egoistic I was before. If you ask my childhood friends, they will tell you. Very egoistic, either my way or highway. That's it. So that was okay. I was comfortable in that space. But then when I came into this intense meditation, then I experienced my true self. And that also is a grand celebration. I was very comfortable. So it's easy to be in that physical space or it's easy to be in the soul space. But then after, to be in the middle path, to be part of the society. See, when you're by yourself, locking up yourself in a room and you are meditating 8 hours, 10 hours, you close your eyes, your connection to God, you connected to all the trees, the plants, the birds, and you don't speak to outside people. Anyway, nobody else is interested to speak to me at the time. And I'm living in my own world. It was so blissful, so happy. So the physical life is also easy, and the spiritual life is also easy. And then came the challenging part to be in balance, to be in the middle path, where you have to be in samsara, and being in samsara, you have to experience your true self. That was challenging. When nobody is there to disturb you, poke you, you are all alone in your sadhana, then you are naturally blissful. But when you go to your marketplace, you are working, you are doing a job, your colleagues will try to poke you, they will try to do politics, they will try to steal all the credit in your house, in your family, the relationships, people start feeling, the family relationships are very, because I come from a joint family. Can you imagine how much politics will be there in the joint family? Everybody is competing for the recognition. And then the moment I open the mouth, I speak about spirituality and meditation, and my other family members, their ego is hurt because they're doing pujas and vratas and rituals for their whole life. They get offended. So you mean to say what we are doing is wrong? I never said that what they're doing is wrong. I just shared my experience and they get offended. See, the problem is they have been used to certain practice, certain rituals for 50, 60 years. And it needs a lot of guts to change their practices and come into meditation. Because the ego hurts that all these while what you believed is wrong, no, it cannot be. So the ego wants to hold it strong. Actually, it is beautiful that my father expressed one day. I was asking him, you see me as an example, then why are you resisting to do meditation? Why are you resisting to change? Then he said, say, I'm already 60. I lived my whole life this way. And it is very difficult for me. My ego hurts. My ego hurts to feel that all this while what I'm doing is not right. My ego hurts. So anyway, I lived this life. So let me continue this so that at least I'll be happy. At least my ego feels good. So that is the expression he gave. Not the same words, but the expression. But he is very honest enough to admit it. So I respect him for that. So to be in the middle path, to be in the middle path means you are constantly in the zoom in, zoom out mode. When you are by yourself, you are in the zoom in mode. Your focus is only on yourself. When you're among the people, when you're in the workplace, when you're with the family members, you are in the zoom out mode. You give importance to everybody, right? And after I became a teacher, then it is much more challenging. Because once you become a spiritual teacher, then wherever you go, you are respected. You are well taken care. People put you on the pedestal. And when people put you on the pedestal, what happens? Your ego feels good. Your ego feels, wow, so many people are serving me. So many people are taking care of me. Now your ego feels good. Again, it becomes much more challenging that while it is okay to enjoy all the things, but you cannot be attached to it. So when I came to this Agastya ashram, I told myself that these people are all putting me on a pedestal. But they made me the managing trustee and they made me the head of the ashram. So these people are putting me on the pedestal. So I told myself that the greatest weapon I have is detachment. I cannot be identified with this role. Yes, as a managing trustee, I have to do many things. I have to take responsibility. And with that title, a lot of things have been done. It is important to take that role, but it is very important not to get identified with it. So that is where the detachment comes. The zoom in, zoom out mode is attachment and detachment. You tell yourself this is just a temporary title. You are not that. You can be a CEO, absolutely no problem. Be a CEO, feel good about it, but as long as you know how to detach. When you're in the office, you are the CEO. The moment you step out of the office, you are not the CEO. You're just a normal man. If you can cultivate this quality, then you are educating your ego. Then you are more and more in your heart center. You are no more suffering. You see, the ego space is a space of burden because the ego is vulnerable to all the feelings and opinions of others. So constantly you get hurt. So when you let go of this ego, let go means let go of this identity. You will let go of this small identity. Then the capital I is waiting for you. The self realization is waiting for you. The enlightenment is waiting for you. That's how you are in the heart space. That's how you enter the kingdom of God. So once again, it's a reminder this chakra science is an opportunity to transform ourselves, to work on ourselves. And these chakras are in the energy body. So the more we change, the more we transform for good, the more we master ourselves, the more the energy blocks gets cleared. And then the energy comes into alignment. Because we're all energy beings. We're all energy beings. The change in our inner quality reflects in the outer. Now just imagine a movie. Your life is a movie. Just imagine your life, each one of you, your individual life as a movie. And you are the hero of the movie. You are the producer. You are the director. You are the distributor. You are everything. So you are the hero, you are the director, you are the producer, you are the distributor. And in your movie, there are secondary characters, like side actors. All the people you meet in your life are all the people who are in relationship with you. Can be your family members or colleagues, whoever is in your life. They are secondary characters, but you are the main character because it is your movie. Your life is your movie, and you are the primary character. You are the hero. So if your movie is not a happy movie, your movie is not a movie of entertainment, your movie is not a movie of enjoyment, then it is the director, the actor, the main actor, the producer, it is you. So the change has to be you. But unfortunately, people tend to change the side actors. People tend to blame the secondary artist. While your movie is not a joyful movie, but all something has to be changed. That is you. So there is no point blaming your husband or your wife or your children or your parents, your boss. No point in blaming any character because they are all side roles in your movie. The main role is you. So when you understand this, then you take responsibility. Okay, what is that I can change from within? And the magic is, the real magic. The real magic is when you change inside, the whole movie becomes beautiful. Your entire surroundings changes. Your secondary actors, your side actors, everybody will change. The magic is even the secondary actors will start performing well. They will match your standards. So when you change, you will notice that people around you, they start changing as well. Because if the direction changes, the action changes. This is the real magic. So this is what is taking responsibility. And this is real spirituality. So now where exactly the direction is wrong, where exactly the acting is wrong. So that is what the spiritual science helps as a self-reflection. Nobody will come and tell you you are doing wrong. Even if somebody comes and tells you you are doing wrong, your ego gets hurt and you don't want to listen. Only it is through your own self-reflection. Everything is possible. The inner change is possible only through self-reflection. And the heart center is like a entry, it's like a portal, it's like a doorway to the kingdom of God. It's the heart center which is in the middle. There are lower three chakras, which is physical. There are upper three chakras, which is spiritual. The lower three chakras relate to your physical aspect. The upper three chakras relate to your spiritual aspect. It is the heart center, which is the balancing center, and which is the doorway. To be in the heart center simply means to be pure, to be authentic. And unless you are authentic, you cannot experience your own godhood. You cannot experience your own divinity. So it is through the heart you experience your own divinity. Heart center, feeling center, intuition space, soulhood space, brotherhood space, friendship space, oneness space. It is the heart center. Let me share the slides so that we understand a little more in fine details. So the energy which blocks the heart center, the fourth chakra, is the grief energy. Grief is because you don't trust life. When you don't trust life, when you feel life is so vulnerable, you don't trust life, and your connection with yourself is also missing. You don't feel connected to yourself and you don't feel connected to God. Whether you can call it God or divine or existence or higher self, it is the same. Whenever you are not connected to God energy, you are in grief. Whenever you don't trust life, you are in grief. You feel you are all alone. You feel earth is a terrible place. You feel life is a tragedy. Then there is a grief. And when the same energy is transformed with your own trust, with your own faith, the divine, trusting life, trusting yourself, trusting that whatever happens, happens for good, trusting the bigger picture of life, trusting that you create your own reality, trusting that yes, I can. But then the same energy transforms into joy. It's opposite energy. The opposite energy of grief is joy. Children are a great example of joy. They are full of joy because they trust life. They have a lot of hope in life and they are in flow. They always go with the flow. There is no resistance. They go with the flow of life and they are very authentic in their emotions and they are very authentic in expressing their emotions. And let us see some of the aspects which blocked. It's very nice. We are all children once upon a time. We are all in joy. Then what happened to us as we are growing up? Layers and layers of programming started happening. Then we lost our connection to our own self. So all the abuses which we have discussed in our childhood days, in the first chakra, second chakra, third chakra, all those abuses makes us feel unlovable. And it creates a self-rejection. So when we are rejected, what we seek is approval from others because you rejected yourself. When you rejected yourself, then the very natural phenomena is you seek approval from others. So you're looking for outside, but what you need to look for is inside you. Like you have lost the keys in one room, but you are finding it in the other room. You will never find it. So what you are seeking is inside you. But when you're seeking appreciation, approval, acknowledgement from others, from outside, then naturally there is more and more grief. And this twisted concepts of love. See, the parents, they themselves don't know what healthy love is. And there is a lot of conditioning which happens. It is like telling the child, you listen to the way I want, then I love you. You behave the way, you listen the way we expect, we want, then I love you. If you don't listen to us, if you don't fulfill our expectations, then we are not ready to love you. So it becomes conditional. So the child sees conditions everywhere, from the parents, from the teachers, from the society. Everywhere there is conditions. The love is conditional everywhere. So what happens when, see, children, they they learn by seeing others because they see conditions everywhere. Then their own self-love also becomes conditional. Their own acceptance becomes conditional. For them to love themselves also becomes conditional. They put certain conditions. If I do this, then I'm good. If I do this, then I'm great. If I don't do this, then I'm not worthy. If I didn't achieve this, then I'm not worthy. So they start putting conditions towards their own self. So that's when you go far away from your own self. And then there's a lot of expectations in the relationships. Every child fantasizes, okay, my future partner will be like this. So they fantasize unconditional love. They themselves have conditions for their self love, but they fantasize unconditional love. It is like one person begging for love, marrying another beggar. So one beggar getting married to another beggar, not knowing both are beggars. So this person thinks the other person is rich, and the other person thinks this person is rich. So two confusions coming together creates a disaster. And these two confusions, becoming parents, creates a greater disaster. So the change has to happen from within. There is no point blaming others. Because the fourth chakra deals with relationships. So what do you seek in relationships? Is there any special people in your life? You are the most special one for you. But if you think another person is special for you, that means there is something you need to learn here. Why you reach out to others? How you reach out to others? So these are the questions you should ask. And some of the disorders which relates with this chakra is heart disease, lungs, because it's all in the heart region, chest region. Heart, lungs, thymus, breast, arms, disorders, and shortness of breath, sunken chest, asthma problems, immunity deficiency. Because your heart is like the CPU, the power center. So your immune system becomes weak, tensions between shoulder blades, and frequent pain in the chest. So all these physical disorders are associated with the heart chakra. Now what to do? Meditation is compulsory. The more higher you go in your evolution, meditation becomes the need of the hour. And then the push factor is unconditional acceptance of self. Whatever you are, you accept yourself. And you might say, how do I accept my negative qualities? See, you have to understand when you're born, like when the fetus is getting developed in the mother's womb, it is just a matter. The fetus is just a matter. It is like dead. It is a dead matter. When life touches the fetus, when life enters the mother's womb, then the body starts moving. The baby starts moving. So life comes in. And when it is time to vacate the body, you grow old. When it is time to vacate the body, then you drop the matter. So before entering, this matter is dead, the mother's womb. And after you finish the life journey, you leave. When you leave, this matter becomes dead again. We call it as corpse, dead body. So it is your life which is the truth. It is your soul. Your soul is eternal. Your soul enters, the life begins. Your soul leaves, then this becomes again a dead body. So accepting yourself, unconditional acceptance of the self means accepting your own divinity, accepting your own purity. You are pure. You are pure by birth. Your soul can never be corrupted at any cost. The divinity of who you are can never be corrupted. Accept that own divinity because you are from God. You are the child of God. You are no less than God. And forgive. This forgiveness is very, very important because what others do reflects their own life journey, their own life conditioning. So if you hold grudges that other person has done something wrong, then you are wrong. Don't take things personally. What another person does is his problem. What another person does is his reflection of his own life. So when you understand the other person is doing his best, like you are doing your best at any given point of time, you are doing your best. At whatever the level of evolution you are doing your best. Similarly, everybody is doing their best. When everybody is doing their best, then what is the reason to get hurt? If somebody tries to hurt you, you just understand that they are doing their best and it has nothing to do with you. Whenever somebody, whenever you get hurt through somebody, you just have to remind yourself that you are not responsible for the other person's actions or words. Then it becomes easy to forgive. When you understand that everybody is right from their point of view, you are right from your point of view, the other person is right from his point of view. That is the ultimate truth because every single person is hero in his own movie. Every single person is a hero in his own movie, and every person is right from his point of view. So when you understand that every person is right from his point of view, then what is the blockage to forgive? You just forgive. You forgive for your own self, not for the other person. You have to remember this point. Whenever you forgive, you are helping yourself. This is the line you have to underline. When you forgive somebody, you are helping yourself. If you don't forgive, only you will suffer. If you forgive, then you feel light. You forgive and forget. Focus on yourself, not on the other person. Always focus on yourself, not the other person. And the more you practice seva means service without any expectations. You do seva without any expectations, and the only reason for you to do seva is because it is in seva you experience the ultimate joy. You can experiment this. When you do service without any expectations, then naturally your whole being is in full of joy. And unless you experiment this, you really don't know what that joy is. It is the joy of sharing. It is the joy of sharing your goodness. It is the joy of sharing the excess resources. Whatever you have in excess, you have excess time, share it. You have a lot of knowledge, share it. You have a lot of wisdom, share it. You have excess money, share it with the needy people. Share it to support others so that they can do more good work. The joy of sharing comes from service. So the more you do seva, the more you feel joy in your heart center. The more you feel the oneness. The more you do service, the more you feel that I am serving the other person, but I see myself in the other person. So taking care of others is taking care of yourself. Serving others is serving yourself. This is a grand truth, absolute truth. That's why every religion, every master, every enlightened master, they emphasize on service. The more you do good karmas, the more you do service, the more naturally you get good karmas, punya. So the more you have punya, the more you have guidance from the divine. You become eligible to get the divine guidance, the timely guidance. So on this note, we'll conclude this session.